students. Today I will give you brief summary of the second story of the lesson Lost Spring. I want to drive a car. The second part is about the life of Mukesh, who comes from the family of Bengal makers. Firozabad is quite popular for its glass blowing industry. A staggering 20,000 children are a part of this business, and any law that forbids child labor is brutally ignored here. Also, the working environment and the living conditions are pathetic. Children live in dingy cells and work around hot furnaces that make them blind when they enter adulthood. Since they are weighed down by debt, they cannot think or find any way to escape this trap. The politicians, policemen, middlemen, and bureaucrats obstruct their way of progress. Most women in such families think that this is their fate and just follow the tradition. But Mukesh is very different from the rest of the people there. He has dream of becoming a motor mechanic. The garage is quite far from his house, but he will walk to the garage and learn.
Now, I will read and explain the second story. I want to drive a car. Page number 16. Mukesh insists on being his own master. I will be a motor mechanic, he announces. Do you know anything about cars? I ask. I will learn to drive a car, he answers, looking straight into my eyes. His dream looms like a mirage amidst the dust of streets that fill his town Firozabad, famous for its bangles. Every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles. It is the center of India's glass blowing industry, where families have spent generations working around furnaces, welding glass, making bangles for all the women in the land, it seems. Here in the second story, we come to know about Mukesh, who is from Firozabad, and his entire family was into Bengal making business like the others in their locality. However, Mukesh wanted to be his own master and he wished to be a motor mechanic. The writer asked him if he knew anything about cars. Mukesh replied that he wanted to learn to drive a car. The writer felt that his dream was just like an illusion. Firozabad was the center of India's glass blowing industry, where generations after generations had been involved in this business.
Mukesh family is among them. None of them know that it is illegal for children like him to work in the glass furnaces with high temperatures, in dingy cells, without air and light, that the law, if enforced, could get him and all those 20,000 children out of the hot furnaces where they slog their daylight hours, often losing brightness of their eyes. Mukesh's eyes beam as he volunteers to take me home, which he proudly says is being rebuilt. We walk down stinking lanes choked with garbage, past homes that remain halls with crumbling walls, wobbly doors, no windows, crowded with families of humans and animals coexisting in a primeval state. Here in these few lines, we come to know that the people of Firozabad involved their children in the Bengal making profession without knowing that it was illegal for children to work in the glass furnaces with high temperature and in dingy cells without air and light. If the laws was enforced, then almost 20,000 children would be out of the hot furnaces where they work day and night, often losing their brightness of their eyes. Mukesh proudly announced that his house was being rebuilt and volunteered to take the writer to his home. They walked down the stinking lanes choked with garbage, past houses that were small and dirty. They had wobbly doors and no windows. Here, families of humans and animals coexisted in a primeval state. Now, students, next lines. He stops at the door of one such house, bangs a wobbly iron door with his foot, and pushes it open. We enter a half built shack. In one part of it, thatched with dead grass, is a firewood stove over which sits a large vessel of sizzling spinach leaves. On the ground, in large aluminum platters, are more chopped vegetables. A frail young woman is cooking the evening meal for the whole family. Through eyes filled with smoke, she smiles. She is the wife of Mukesh's elder brother. Not much older in years, she has begun to command respect as the Bahu, the daughter in law of the house, already in charge of three men, her husband, Mukesh, and their father. When the older man enters, she gently withdraws behind the broken wall and brings her veil closer to her face. As custom demands, daughters in law must veil their faces before male elders. In this case, the elder is an impoverished Bengal maker. Despite long years of hard labor, first as a tailor, then as a Bengal maker, he has failed to renovate a house, sends his two sons to school. All he has managed to do is teach them what he knows, the art of making Bengals. Here, finally, Mukesh and our author they enter a half-built shack, one part of which was thatched with dead grass, where frail young woman was cooking the evening meal for the whole family. She was the wife of Mukesh's elder brother. Though not much older in years, she has the respect of Bahu. She covered her face when Mukesh's father entered, as a custom demanded. Mukesh's father had toiled hard all his life, first as a tailor and then as a Bengal maker. Still, he was not able to renovate his house and sends his two sons to school. All he could manage to do was to teach them what he knew about the art of Bengal making. It is his karam, his destiny, says Mukesh's grandmother, who has watched her own husband go blind with the dust from polishing the glass of Bengals. Can a God given lineage ever be broken? she implies. Born in the caste of Bengal makers, they have seen nothing but Bengals. In the house, in the yard, in every other house, every other yard, every street in Firozabad. Spirals of Bengals, sunny gold, paddy green, royal blue, pink, purple, every color born out of the seven colors of the rainbow, lie in mounds in unkempt yards, are piled on four-wheeled handcarts pushed by young men along the narrow lane of the shanty town. And in dark hutments, next to lines of flames of flickering oil lamps, sit boys and girls with their fathers and mothers, welding pieces of colored glass into circles of bangles. Their eyes are more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. That is why they often end up losing their eyesight before they become adults. Here we come to know that grandmother of Mukesh had seen her husband go blind with the dust from polishing the glass bangles. She believed in destiny that a God given lineage could not ever be broken, as they were born in the caste of Bengal makers. They had seen nothing but bangles of various colors. In the dark hut, next to lines of flames of flickering oil lamps, boys and girls sat with their fathers and mothers, welding pieces of colored glass into circles of bangles. Their eyes were adjusted more to the dark than to the light outside. They often ended up losing their eyesight before they became adults. Students, in this paragraph, page number 17, fourth last line, where there is one line, can a God given lineage ever be broken? Lineage. Underline this word. Meaning of this word lineage means ancestry. Ancestry.